In our future story today, challenging and tough as autistic Emmanuel's life has been, he is an aspiring Olympian.
My name is Wanguzi Emmanuel. I am 15 years old. I'm doing with the Special Olympics Uganda. The Special Olympics Uganda, these games and sports, types of games and sports, it is swimming, running, jumping, trampoline, arrowing, cycling, computer music, singing, tennis ball, long tennis, golf, pool tables, and the football. The Special Olympics Uganda. This do your exercise, open eye screening, and by helping for that one.
You are watching the DocTalk show.
Before we went for the break, we had seen that autism manifests as a developmental problem, but of course with a problem with the brain. Our viewers here need to know, what are the real causes of autism? Dr. Billy.
Yeah, I think I will need to mention it now that the causes of autism are not known, but we have contributing factors. Factors concerning the genetics, makeup, and factors concerning the environment. So we have so many contributors which are into this, which could be maybe lead to the cause or maybe worsen the problem.
Okay, because so I get to understand that there's no particular cause. Just like
true.
To say malaria is caused by parasite. And it's known everywhere.
Yes.
So these factors you're talking about increase the risk for someone to have autism.
And doesn't mean that if you have any of these ones, perhaps we develop it. Sometimes I would say, I use the word idiopathic, that the cause is, you might not identify a particular cause even with these risk factors in place.
Dr. Justin, what exactly does genetics have to do with autism?
Actually, you find that there are some genes that come into play, and probably if maybe a child, maybe the great parent or one of the person in that family tree had autism, they are more likely to present with autism. Then of course there goes things of like karyotyping. Maybe you want to know. Well, the problem is there are so many genes that have been identified, so you can't really point at this particular gene. Like maybe you see in Down syndrome where you know maybe it's maybe 23 something like that. Yeah, it's not actually only one gene. Yes.
Okay, because when you say genetics, actually some people might not might not have the autism expressed like a parent. Not necessarily that the parent has to have autism for you to have an autistic child.
Genetics plays a very big role here, and later as we're going to see that by the time the environment comes in to modify, the genetics has already done its thing. For example, ladies are not like gentlemen. We are born with a particular, ladies are born with a particular number of eggs. I'll use the word eggs. So as from the time you start menstruating, you're reducing on the number of eggs. So imagine the egg which is going to be fertilized at 40. This egg has been subjected to a number of environmental factors. For example, heat, cosmetics, things we're using, X-rays. So this egg out to be affected too, so meaning they can break. The genes carried in these eggs can break. Other things could be inserted in them. And all these can lead to problems, not only even in autism, even other range of genetic.
The environmental factors, Dr. Justin, one needs to know, because this is where we have a very big input as we, the parents,
and the clinicians.
If we are going to prevent, if we are going to reduce the risk of autism, because the environment, at least someone can prevent them. So what exactly has someone got to know, has someone got to do so that they can prevent it?
Okay,
among the causes.
One is maybe the obstetricians. It's good to always maybe monitor labor, that you don't have to end up with fetal distress. The children getting what we call birth asphyxia. you know.
Yeah.
That's what usually exposes
Brain
them.
damage.
Brain
Yeah,
damage.
brain damage.
Yeah.
Get
Me,
brain
Butter's
damage.
picture, this is
Yeah.
where simply say that the baby is tired. When the baby gets so much tired, it means simply that the oxygen going to the baby at the time of birth is reduced, and that one can affect on how the brain functions,
Exactly.
and can also, if the genetics are also predicting so, perhaps might end up with a
Because life is oxygen anyway.
Yeah,
so
oxygen.
if there is no oxygen in a particular part of the brain,
Yeah.
if it's prolonged, you're going to have irreversible
irreversible brain damage.
That is going to have an effect on how the brain functions, in the long term.
Mm.
However, it is also important to know that there could be factors that are related to the parents, environmental factors that are related to the parents themselves.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, well, here, of course, I've already picked it from the genetics. I'll mention the age. And this age, now for the first time at least, it's not only for the maternal age,
Yes.
but also the paternal, the age of the father also matters. And I think,
Of course, other issues of maybe prematurity. For example,
So
maybe if a child is born prematurely, just know every part of the body is immature, the brain is immature. You're going to get issues maybe with neurotube defects, things like that. You're going to have all other organs are immature. So that can also play a
Actually,
role.
the issue about prematurity, a premature brain it's easily damaged.
Exactly.
That is really the issue. So if you're going to have a premature birth, of course there are so many things that are
Can
also
come with the
behind
prematurity.
premature
yeah.
birth.
For example, carrying multiple pregnancy
Yes.
or twins, it is a risk of having a premature birth.
Yes,
Common.
infections,
Yes, and infections during antenatal, they can lead you for having
a
a premature birth.
So if you have a premature brain, it's at risk of getting brain damage. Yes.
And there's something about low birth weight. Babies below 2.5 kilograms could be because one, they could be prematures, but they could be term, they could be ready to deliver, but maybe because the placenta was not feeding
Very well.
the baby very well, so the baby does not achieve the potential, and they will be lying below the centile, the size is supposed expected for at birth.
We've seen quite poor outcomes of mothers who have children with short interpregnancy intervals. For example, I have my child now. 1 year later, I'm having another pregnancy. How does that relate to poor outcome?
And I think because you have not replenished the stores, like when you have the baby, the iron stores are a bit depleted and other nutrient stores. So if you decide to have babies like more closed up together, you might find that the nutrients are not yet replenished. But I think this problem is going to come on the rise, because if mothers come to deliver their first babies at 40, you don't tell them to space their babies 3 years.
3 years.
They will come at 43, at 46. They want these are mothers who want to all the time to come in every year to come in, and then the risk of autism is going to increase.
The other issue could be actually even the child's temperament.
Yeah.
You know, that child is inborn, with that difficult temperament, so they are more at risk. We're looking about them throwing up tantrum. They are more at risk of developing symptoms of what? Of autism as well.
There are things like infections, maternal infections per se, that could cross to the baby while they are pregnant.
Yes.
You know, and then can affect.
And these are some of the infections we screen for.
During antenatal.
Yes,
The
rubella has been really found to be a problem. Toxoplasmosis. These are some of the infestations in pregnancy. So as the obstetricians, we have tried to screen for these problems, because we know that some of these infections in pregnancy can lead to poor outcomes, and one of the poor outcomes could be having an autistic baby.
Okay, and of course,
All that said, obviously, you know that there are some that usually have no problems. Everything has been okay. Their maternal age is just in the normal, in the 20s and the early 30s. So they end up with what? With autism. So it can also happen, not even having any identifiable risk factors.
Yeah, and I think that is where you clinician, you scratch your head, and because the mother will pose to you that, doctor, what has been the problem? I started my prenatal vitamins early. I did everything. I attended all my antenatal visits.
Maybe it's because of the inability for us to clearly rule out the
genetic component of it.
Yes, because of our inability, our limited resources, we can't do the tests that we need to do to confirm genetic.
Yeah, but of course, even in the first world, I think studies are still ongoing.
They're still
They're
ongoing,
also,
actually.
they have not yet come
They
out
don't know a particular
gene which is causing these problems.
Yeah, it's not really known.
Okay. Do we, because we said it cuts across individuals, whether social status, but again, you're talking about prenatal vitamins. Someone out there might actually want to think, if my mother has poor nutrition, malnutrition, would this be contributory? Won't you want to think that maybe people in low settings are at more risk than people who
That
are
cannot
affluent?
happen. Actually, if you think of maybe the prenatal vitamins, you can maybe things like folic acid, which is actually available in the green vegetables.
Yes,
but actually they are
it's not
available
necessarily
and
There are
the-
people who
affordable.
cannot even afford the green.
It's not necessarily
They
the
would actually
deficiency of a
sell.
particular
Sure.
nutrient. But of course, maybe they need to find out. I would say that the prevalence perhaps in the villages is a bit lower. One, because of the health-seeking behavior in the villages.
Actually, that
And
has
also
not-
the clinicians who are there the specialized clinicians
maybe
who are
people are
specialized into
missing diagnosing it, because
Maybe we're
these
missing
children
it.
actually are more at risk of getting many of the respiratory infections that happen with cough, flu. Maybe they will be able to look at maybe the other symptoms of maybe autism that will be able to be.
getting because of undiagnosed
Yeah,
and maybe the ones who
they are missed. Many
they
are
missed diagnosis. Yes.
Okay, when we come back, we shall look at the diagnosis. How does a doctor tell you that? How does a doctor know that this child is autistic? How do we treat autism? And what are the new things that have come up about autism?
You are watching the DocTalk Show.